At Dad's birthday, they seated me with the staff, then his boss called me chairman. I almost didn't go to Dad's 60th birthday celebration. It was hosted by his company, a fancy event at a downtown hotel, filled with executives and polished speeches. I didn't feel like I belonged there. I was 24, jobless, still licking my wounds from a failed startup, and wearing a suit that didn't quite fit. When I arrived, the hostess smiled politely and guided me, not to the family table, but to the staff section in the back, next to the servers and kitchen crew. I didn't argue. Honestly, it felt fitting. Invisible. Forgotten. I watched from afar as Dad, the company's longest-serving engineer, laughed with his coworkers, never seeing me slip into the background. Dinner passed quietly. I made small talk with a dishwasher named Louise who had 2 jobs and still managed to bring his daughter to school every morning. A pastry chef, Mia, told me she'd been saving for nursing school. They were warm, authentic, and grounded, the kind of people who carried the place without recognition. Somehow, I felt more at home there than I expected. Then, the speeches began. One VP spoke about quarterly growth. Another praised Dad's dedication. I clapped, but it all felt rehearsed, until the CEO, a quiet older man, stepped up. He began reminiscing about how, decades ago, a new hire stayed late to help a custodian clean up after a company party. That man, he said, pointing to Dad, never saw people as titles or salaries, just as people. The room hushed. He once told me his proudest accomplishment wasn't his patents, but raising a son who treated the janitor like the chairman. My breath caught. Tonight, that son is here. We almost seated him with the executives, but apparently he found his place, right beside the people who make this company real. That, to me, is leadership. He turned toward me. Stand up, Chairman. Head swiveled. Applause broke out. I stood, awkward and stunned. Dad locked eyes with me across the room, tears brimming, pride written across his face in a way I hadn't seen since I was a boy. Suddenly, every failure, every moment of self-doubt dissolved into something else, purpose. Later that night, Dad hugged me like he knew something I didn't yet believe. You've always led, son. Not with titles. With heart. I spent the rest of the evening talking with staff, executives, and strangers who now saw me differently, but I hadn't changed. I had simply been seen. That night taught me success isn't always shiny or loud. Sometimes, it's quiet dignity, unnoticed kindness, the willingness to sit at the back and listen. The world may not always seat you where you belong, but how you show up can move the entire room. And sometimes, when you lead with compassion, the title comes looking for you. And I learned, the true measure of a person isn't where they sit, it's who they lift beside them.